Good morning and welcome into the new members and to the old members that have found their way back to the community. I need you just as much as you need me, as we have a lot of stuff to go over this morning. We'll start out this update by going over XRP. Right now we're at the 56.6 cent level. Overnight we went up to 58 cent mark approximately before we corrected here. If you were in the live last night, or even if you weren't, I'm going to go back over the initial breakout of the descending triangle and the retest area, which is around 55.5 cents. If we do come back down, we'll look at that very closely to see exactly where we need to bounce to move up to the next formation, and that is up at around the 60 cent mark. So our next resistance, as long as we hold 55.5 cents, is around 60 cents, but I'll go over that very detailed in the technical analysis so that you can see each and every direction here that XRP is likely to go. We'll take a look at the XRP market cap as it's up another 210 million, or 0.68% to 30.875 billion. We'll also have to take a look at Bitcoin as we go through this update here this Friday morning. As Bitcoin's up $336, it's up to 52,265, reversed all the losses from last night. And we'll see if we'll have momentum going forward. And the major resistance line that we are actually right upon on that broadening wedge resistance, since we came all the way from support around 38,000 all the way up to the resistance line. So we'll take a look at that and see what the most likely outcome is going forward. So please make sure to hit that like button as I go through this intro, timestamp this video. I would appreciate if you hit that like button, as it will force YouTube to recommend this video, and it'll help with our YouTube recommendations to allow more new faces along with the old faces to come back in here, as they will get an alert that this update has been out. So I thank each and every one of you for tuning in this morning. We have to have our due diligence as always. If you're an XRP holder, this is not the cycle in history to sell, in my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, so you have to make an educated and informed decision. But I don't believe you buy XRP in the sense to sell it in the sense. I believe there's something much bigger going on. Yesterday, the World Bank said that XRP is indeed a stable coin, or at least that's what came out. And that's no surprise to me. I've been making that claim since 2021. So it's good to see the World Bank is acknowledging XRP as a stable coin. And we'll go forward to see exactly what that implication is. So good morning. 9:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, February 16th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So as we can see, XRP is up 0.5% right now to 56.51. So what exactly happened? We broke on top of this descending triangle. We're yet to back test it at 55.5 cents. This was something we talked about on the live pretty deep in detail last night. We talked about if XRP was going to continue on. The fact that it had such a resistance here since January of this year. So it took about 6 to 7 weeks to push past through this resistance. It's not uncommon for it to backtest the formation breakout. Instead of having it as a resistance, use it as support for the very first time. So what I'm looking for this morning, especially since we couldn't hold the 20-day, I'm expecting us to come back and retest that. It's not 555 now. It's coming down the line, so 553. I'm expecting it to retest at 55.3 cents. And then we'll see if we are in fact bullish. And we can have a bullish continuation, as it looks like we will, but you can never make that 100% claim until you actually have validated that back test. So the signal for a further move up will be that back test at 55.3 cents. And if we successfully back test, your next resistance is up here at the grander formation, which started in July of 2023. And that resistance is up at about 60 cents. So we have to do this by level right now. So that's why I have separate charts so that we can properly interpret this. So this is where we're trying to backtest the breakout of the descending triangle. We're trying to backtest this currently. And then that'll allow us to break past and up towards 60 cent area, which is the formation from July of 2023 resistance. If we come down below where we just spoke, 534 is that pivot point. But you don't really want to end up back in there, because then you can end up in a squeeze scenario. Or if we did break down, you could bounce back down, and then you could start squeezing here just to come right down. So it's in our best interest to hold this 55 point, we'll just call it 55.40. We want to hold that as support. And then you're going to want to push up really quickly after that, after you hold that support and try to retest this resistance here over the top, which is in the formation, like I said, from July of 2013. And that's how you get up to that, or 2023. That's how you get up to that resistance line. And if you take these out into a longer formation, this is in the 2-hourly. You can see how we're pushing through right now. And we're converging on what I'm saying is contracting triangle at the end of this formation. And it's within a much larger formation. As we know, the overall pattern that we're in right now, we went to all-time highs at around 350. And that was in January of 2018. If you're new, we came down and converged. It took a year and a half, about 27 months to converge down until March of 2020, where we went from the swing high of $1.98, $3.50, to a swing low within the same formation at just over 10 cents. We validated again when we went back into a mini bull market rally in March of 2020. What was it? March of 2021, roughly. April, somewhere around there. We went back up to $1.98, and then we continued to come back down from 21 until 22 and 23. We hit that uptrending support right around 28 and 30 cents and also 34 cents. So we've confirmed this pattern. We've been in a 6-year consolidation since we went to all-time highs. And now, as we can see on the formation, this pattern converges and it comes to an end. Let me go to the other chart because it's easier to see. It converges. And even in the smaller time frames, we'll put it in the daily. It converges, and you can see this pattern is technically set to end, and it ends on December of 2024. Let me move this right here because that's where I had it before. It ends December of 2024. So this price action that's converged since December of 2018, and the uptrend started in March of 2020. We're almost to the end of this formation. That's the importance of this. We've got less than 9 months here, or 10 months, until the crescendo point is met. And if it breaks bullish in December, you're looking for an initial run up to almost $1.70. If it breaks up bullish from here before, let's say, Easter, around Easter, your technical target's going to be the double top out there. The farther you go, the more expandable this is. So it takes it into different accounts. This middle target is actually, you could mess with it and say it's a little bit higher, but this is a initial push for a retest and then break back up. With the XRP market cap, we're in a very interesting spot. We're coming up to that major over-the-top resistance that we talked about when we broke 28.792 billion. If you've been here for a while, or if you're new, we had a very big pivot point at 28.79 billion. The moment we broke up from this, we knew that we would come up at suggesting X marks the spot around 32.3 billion. So that is what I am fully anticipating with XRP's market cap. And then if we can get back up and over this, if we break over this small formation, you could go all the way up to 38.9 billion if you do maintain a push over the top. But that's going to take a little bit of work. As you can see, there's a little bit of a resistance wall right in between. But how did XRP get here? Well, Bitcoin's up 390 points today to 52,324, up another 0.75%. The shorts have not only lost those shorts, but now they're eating their shorts for meals because they've been liquidated out of their leverage and they're not doing so well. This could be a head formation, but this could also be another bull flag that's set up here, as we've seen quite often coming up. And if this plays true, you should be looking at 55,000. I know it's crazy, but if this plays up and plays true and doesn't consolidate down, you're looking at like 55,000 for Bitcoin. And then if you break the broadening wedge and you hold it, the technical target up is like 65,000 and some change. But that has to happen with breaking through the broadening wedge. And there's two key resistance levels here, 53,298 and then 55,000 over the top. You get on top of both of those levels and clear it, you could open up the door for a pretty explosive move here, continuing with Bitcoin. So right now with XRP, though, I want to focus on some of the statistics here real quickly. Right now, the 24-hour volume's up to 1.8 billion. Market cap's at 30.863 billion. As far as the indicators go, it's flipped over to a buy. As we know, not too long ago, it was all sells here. Last week, we're up 9.92%. Last month, down 1.71%. 3 months, down 7.7%. Last 6 months, XRP's up 8.84%. Year-to-date, down 8%. And in 1 year, we're up 41.05%. If we go to more technicals in the daily, everything's neutral because the daily's not closed yet. 4 hourly, overall summer, we have 14 buy, 9 neutrals, and 3 sells. According to the oscillators, 8 are neutral, 2 sells, 1 buy. And according to the moving averages, 13 buys, 1 neutral, 1 sell in the 4 hourly. And then the Fibonacci real quick for anybody who likes to use it. The Fibonacci S1 support is 5047. The pivot point is 51.9 cents. Love it. Like both of them, actually. Support 2, 495. And support 3, 48 cents. Can't complain there. Resistance 1, 534. Resistance 2, 544. Resistance 3, 559. Can't complain about any of those either. So if you're a fan of the Fibonacci, that's a good way to just give you a little more detail in that aspect. Since I don't like to put the Fibonacci on my charts because I don't like it. But it doesn't mean it's not a good indicator of what's to come or where we're going. Let's see. We'll read some more of the news later. I'm not going to get into the news. I want to keep this into the charts. I was just reading some of the headlines. So XRP right now, with everything we've seen, with everything that we've gone over, with everything we're seeing on the charts, if I'm guessing here, I'm guessing that we're going to probably have a retest here at 55.4 cent area roughly. And that's going to tell us how bullish or bearish we are. If you do see this giveaway, make sure you pay attention to that 53.4 cent pivot point. Because if we lose that, well, then we're just consolidating back within this descending triangle. And we failed to move up. And now we're going to have to properly consolidate. We haven't even finished filling out this pattern yet. That's the point. This pattern could finish out up here up to 62 cents. It could finish out here up towards 60 cents, which we know is the next formation resistance. So to me, it still looks like there's a lot of road left here. It's just, do they go down the road of consolidation first? If you're an XRP holder, please, if you sell your XRP, don't do it out of fear. Don't do it because the news told you to do it, and don't do it because somebody on social media or in the comments were telling you that you made a bad mistake and they're telling you of something they don't understand. If you're making a decision, you have to be honest with yourselves. You have to be honest with the rotation we're in right now. We have to be realistic with ourselves, understanding that a few % correction here is more than likely going to happen unless we find some steam here. It's not a big move. It's not a big move at all. But if you just take it from here, some people will get distracted and be like, oh, we're down another 2.4%. It's over. Not understanding that we have this retest. You retest areas. Remember, we've been in this descending triangle, or this converging, whatever you want to call it. We've been in this since roughly January 1st of 24. So right when this year started. So it's been in this consolidation for just about 7 weeks now. Now we're making a decision. Is this pattern overtly bearish? Or are we going to come up and start messing with that rising channel resistance and see if we can make a run out of this? Well, if we're going to make a run out of it, and we do hold for transparency purposes, let's just say we hold at 55.4 cents. Then XRP is going to have a grand test here. Whoops. Did it delete my chart? It did. Maybe? Nope, it did not. Okay. So XRP, our next resistance, if we, for transparency, hold 55.4 cents, our next resistance is this pattern that started in July of 2023. As if we go back in the 4 hourly, we can see the resistance hit up here. And this is when we actually made it up to that 94, 95 cent swing high on July 14th. That started the resistance. The support was formed as we converged down all the way to 49 cents. And that was formed on August 17th. So now we've been converging since those two meet points. And now we're running out of room. This pattern ends March 26th of this year. No, a little bit farther out because it's about March 30th of this year. So this pattern, if it plays true, would end in 1 month roughly. About 6 weeks from now would be the maximum capacity. So that is what we're looking at right now. We're looking to see if we have any more strength here. Looks like a small bull flag is formed just like the level below. And that should bring us right up to this crescendo point around 60 cents. Assuming that we don't lose that 55.4 cents. And that is an important level if you even look at it here. If you come down below and you start to retest this death cross, that's all the way down, or the golden cross, that's all the way down at 54.8. So it is a very nice indicator if that 554 holds. Also, that's the 200-day support here. So it almost suggests that we need to stay over 558 just to hold that 200-day and then start pushing up. Otherwise, we could have our retracement down to 55.4, and then we know if that doesn't hold, you have the 534 pivot point, which is still a very big level. I know it's underneath the formation, but we were using this as a resistance this whole time trying to come up. And when we finally came down and use it as a resistance, that's how we came down. Now that we're using it as support, this could give us that volatility back to the upside. And if you're an XRP holder, be very excited about this chapter. It's just don't get too caught up in a short-term price action. Be caught up with the grand scheme plan, the grand plan. So this morning, what I want you to do is pay very close attention to Bitcoin and pay very close attention to XRP. Bitcoin's going to be teasing this 53,298 until it breaks over it. And if we fail to break over the top, you could very well see a retracement back to 47,000 possibly. Or if it comes back to the wick, you're talking 49,263 area again, 49,113 area, which is where it was at before. So that is a possibility that we could back test. So watch these two areas. I'll just put it here for transparency on this chart because we're kind of squeezed here. So those are the areas we could find ourselves. If we rotate back down, the first strong support is 49,126 area. If we continue breaking through that, 47,000. Underneath that, you got 46,300, 44,000, which was this old bull flag. But we're so far up, you don't really want to rotate that far. Right now, it'd be nice if Bitcoin finds another gear, breaks past that 53,298, and ends up pushing 55,000. And then it could back test on 53.2. That would be what I would like to see. But at any point, we can have a retracement. So just pay attention to the technical analysis and pay attention to each and every level that I've given you with not just Bitcoin, but more importantly, XRP as well. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. If you appreciated this morning update, make sure you hit that like button so that YouTube will recommend this update more often. It will allow us to continue to grow our community and expand the audience base. If you do appreciate my work, consider hitting that subscribe button and join the over 20,100 subscribers of the channel already. If you appreciate my work and you want to pay it forward for all the time I put in, which is exorbitant, a lot of time is spent, you can always join Tom's Army, which would be the greatest gift of all. Just look in the video description below. Or one time a month is all I ask. Consider sending a YouTube super chat to help fund what I do and help continue to put on this program in the way I do now. I just want to say I thank each and every one of you for paying it forward and watching this morning update. I thank you if you've shared this, and I especially want to shout out the members of Tom's Army, as it's because of you that I can continue to do what I love. Pay attention to XRP, though. We see the little bit of red. We're talking about that 55.4 first level, and then we'll see how it responds. We want to see how Bitcoin's going to react to 52,000. Not saying XRP has to come all the way down there, but it is indicative if Bitcoin does, that would be our real support level. And there's no reason to be afraid of it. There's no reason to sugarcoat it. And there's no reason for me not to talk about it. The retracement level, as we talked about yesterday, which I find it hard to believe we wouldn't hit if we're going to hold, would be down here. And it's come down a little bit. So actually just the 55.3 cent level as we continue to come down this downtrending support. And then just remember, if this breaks through, you got one last tier stand to hold that 534 pivot point. That used to be a resistance that we have not even tested as a support yet. But we are on the top side, so it should be used as support. But in reality, we don't even want to come all the way back down there because we would like to see XRP bounce off of that 553 and then expand out. That's what I'm personally rooting for this morning. Hopefully, you're having a blessed start to today. Remember, positivity is key. We don't play the victim here. We play the winner if you're new to the community. So in the comments, don't play the negativity, but push positivity. Have that feeling of love in the comments. And yes, you're going to see a lot of the hecklers in there, but that is our biggest testament to each other. As I've told each and every one of you, what I'm giving up for Lent or my Ash Wednesday or my resolution here is that no more confrontation. So it's been a much calmer last few days. So I'll continue to push that message. We don't want confrontation. We want to be connected by love, not hate. And if someone's bothering you in the comments, don't feed into it. Try to enlighten. So as we go forward, today's going to be a very key day in the technical analysis. We're going to see if this does continue to pull down and form down to this 553 support on the breakout of this descending triangle resistance as support for the first time, or if we have higher ambitions and XRP needs to come down to the pivot point at 53.4 cents. With continuation, the next target is that formation from July of 2023 resistance, right up at about 60 cents. Have a blessed morning, and thank you all for watching the entirety of this video. If you made it to the end, type in hashtag BeBetterDoBetter.